What is going on, UFC card lovers? Welcome back here to UFC Card Talk. My name is Damien, and for this week's episode, I have a very, very special episode for you. Coming up, I have the first of what I hope to be many UFC card community conversations. This week, I have Justin from West Coast _rips with two S's on Instagram. I will link his Instagram page in the description of this video, so check out his page, check out his cards that he often has up for sale. He's a fantastic guy in the card community. He and I have connected on Instagram, and I just thought what would be better than having a conversation together about UFC cards to share with the community. I had so much fun making this video, and as I said, I do hope to make plenty more of these videos in the coming future. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on more UFC card videos just like this one. I'm so excited to bring this conversation to you guys. So without any more, let's get straight to it. What's going on, UFC card lovers? Welcome back here to UFC Card Talk. And this week I am not alone. I am joined by my man Justin from Instagram at West Coast _rips with two S's. We are here today to talk about UFC cards. Justin, how you going, man?
Going good. How about you, my bro?
I'm going really good. Anytime I can talk about UFC cards with someone like yourself is obviously a very good day. So I'm very excited. I thought what we would do with this conversation, we talk a little bit about your buying and selling, and then we can get to some fun random questions at the end.
Sounds good.
So we'll start off with, when and why did you get into UFC cards?
Well, I started out I'm still new to collecting. I started collecting UFC like late July, early August, but I started with collecting baseball like last May, and I was pretty into that. But I played baseball all my life, but I know more about UFC. Like, I've been watching as long as I can remember. So I felt like it was better for me to like start buying UFC, and I just love like the designs of like the older cards and everything. So I sold like most of my baseball collection and just invested into UFC.
Okay, so you were into obviously baseball before you were into UFC.
Yeah.
So you've always been in the sports card world, or is that something you've picked up as well over the last few years? Or
Yeah. I just barely started. Like, it's probably barely gonna be a year, like in a month. So like 11 months I've been collecting sports cards.
yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've checked over your Instagram, and you do have some pretty awesome cards, man. So congratulations on them. But I thought a good question for the viewers would be, can you go over when it comes to buying your cards, whether it's for your PC or whether they're for cards that maybe you're looking to sell later on, do you have a strategy when it comes to buying those cards?
Yeah, for sure. When I see like a higher end card that I know like would sell, or like what I normally do is like I know like the people I follow and that follow me, and I have like a good idea like who they like and what kind of cards they would buy. So like when I go to like these local shows, or if I see like a deal on Instagram, I I'm like, oh, this so and so would for sure like be interested in this card. Like even if it's not for profit, just sharing like the card that he would be interested in. Like I stole this one dude a 101 Joanna Otto, a black frame museum collection,
Yeah.
and like it was even like a $50 profit, but it was cool because like that's like he PCs her like crazy, and that was like that was like his favorite card he has of a collection. So I just like remember who people like, and if it's a card I really want, then I try to like make better profit on it, obviously. So
Yeah.
I buy these higher end cards that I'm not too attached to, so it's easy to let go, and then I put that towards the card I want.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is it fair to say, like, do you have a strategy in place when before even you make the purchase, you might find a card, but do you have a sort of, whether it's going into the PC or, as you said, maybe it's a card that you want to hold on to make some profit, you definitely, before you're making these purchases, you tend to have a plan in place before you buy the cards?
Yeah, I have a plan indeed. Yeah, just making like before I buy a card, obviously I'm gonna spend like 800 on like a say Rob Font 101. Like no one's gonna like, well, there's only like a certain like probably like three people that are gonna buy that card.
Yeah.
So I gotta make sure like I have a buyer for it. And
Yeah.
which I did. I bought a 101 PSA 10 white sparkle auto of Rob Font.
Yeah.
And I had a buyer for it like before I even bought it. So So I just like, yeah, just like that. Making sure you have a buyer for a card that you're not too fond of,
Yeah.
so you don't stick with it.
And are there any cards at the moment that you're on the hunt for that you might be looking, whether it's to add to your selling inventory or for the PC? Are there any cards at the moment that you're looking to add to your collection?
At the moment, not really to resell, but I'm selling cards to for like a PC. Like, I have the Sapphire rookie PSA 9 of Sean O'Malley,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to get his Ruby rookie
Ooh,
PSA
LA.
9 as well.
Yeah.
So either that or a Connor auto, a triple threads notorious auto.
Yeah. From
Yeah,
2014?
so I think it's from 2014. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there, do you prefer to buy graded or do you prefer to buy raw cards, or does it depend on the card itself?
You know what? Lately, I like how cards look better in one touches, better than slapped up for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
But but lately I've been liking how cards look like in BGS slabs. It just looks so like prestigious in those Beckett slabs. But it is a good strategy to like buy all these raw cards in bulk and get them graded, and then like that increases the value of the card. So I haven't got into that yet, but I've been wanting to for sure. Like send cards to get graded.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of guys, obviously in the sports card industry, not just UFC, that love to buy raw, get graded, and sell on
Yeah.
in a PSA slab. But I can imagine that's obviously easier said than done. So I would be interested to see or sort of hear about how that works, especially within the UFC community. Did you have a favorite set? What's your favorite UFC set?
I would have to say any probably 2018 of museum collection, or probably like any bloodlines, only because it's just so much more unique than Panini. Like Panini, you see these different variations in numbers, but like museum collection, it looks so like crisp, and like it just looks so like it looks so nice. And like with bloodlines, they have like so many different cards that it's just like Panini, like you get out of 99, out of like 5, out of 25. It's just a different color. But
Yeah.
like with these other cards, it's a different color, and like there's like they do something different to the card too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. I think, yeah, definitely the older tops, the numbered, serial numbered tops cards, I think they do have it over the Panini product. But that's obviously definitely up for personal preference, but I agree with
Yeah.
that. Now, when it comes to selling these cards onwards, maybe you bought a card, whether it's a few months ago, maybe it was a year ago. As you said, if you haven't found a buyer for it yet, or maybe it's a card for the PC that you've sort of grown out of, is there a selling strategy you have in particular? Are you using the timing, maybe when the fighter has an event coming up? Have you got a strategy when it comes to the selling?
If it's a card that I bought and I'm not too fond of, and I've been having trouble selling it for like a few months, then I usually like I don't mind taking a loss on it. Like
Yeah.
it's better than getting like some of the money than no money, because especially if I don't like it, then it's like ah. But if I like it and it's not selling, I don't mind keeping it until like I find someone, until like someone comes across me interested in it. So, but like yeah, if buying a fighter, I like it's good to like buy a fighter because it's hard. Like UFC is different than anything else. Like they only fight like 3 times at most a year, so it's very minimal to make the profit. Or if they lose, you can lose
Yeah.
money. So it's just hard. That's why buying like these rookies is so risky. Like because they could be like a really big name now, and say you buy like a 101 of his, like expensive, and like years from now he's a nobody.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely. I think there's room for those flips, you would call them, in the UFC market, but I think they're definitely fewer and far between than what they are compared to the other sports card markets. Because as you said, these fighters aren't getting enough time throughout the year to perform, to put on a show, to make themselves relevant. Because the UFC
Yeah,
are great at just putting on events after events after events. Like you might have the best pay-per-view that you've ever seen all year, and then in 2 weeks' time, they have a fight night that's absolutely spectacular, or maybe it's another main pay-per-view main event. You've even, because you've already forgotten about the previous one. So I feel like, especially with the UFC market, if you're buying You want to be staying away from, if you're looking for a particular fighter, try not to be buying fight week or leading up to or after a big performance, because that's when you're going to be paying the premium. Wait a month, 2 months, because you're certainly going to have a bit of time in between fights, and the price and the hype is going to die down. So that's the better time to buy.
Yeah, exactly. Like those Hamzat cards, like a few years ago, they were like people were buying them too at that like premium price. So I don't think they would get to that point unless he becomes champ. But like now, those cards that sold for like 2,000, 4,000, they're like not even close to like his base rookie prism in a PSA 10. I think if I'm mistaken, it was selling for like 200 to 300. And it's a base.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think I have seen it around the $200 odd mark, which, as you said, is just for a base card, which is printed unlimitedly basically.
Yeah.
I can understand for a silver, just because Prism silvers, especially for a rookie first year, and a debut for UFC, obviously, they're a very iconic card, so you can understand that a little bit more. But for a base Prism, I definitely think it's a bit much.
Yeah.
So after you've sold a card, say, okay, you bought a card, you were able to find a buyer, you're able to sell it around fight week after a big event, made some profit, have you got it planned out straight away where those funds are going to be moving into, whether they're moving into maybe a card for your PC, or they're moving into the next so-called selling inventory or investment?
Yeah, for sure. I always have I have like on my camera roll, I have like a little album of like all cards I'm interested in. So I always have so if I sell a card and I make good profit on it, I always have like a card that I'm for sure gonna buy. It's always between like 3 or 4, but I also have like I always have I have an idea of what I'm gonna buy, and I'm pretty certain on it. So I'm not just searching and any card I buy just wasting my money. So I have certain amount of cards.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm learning at the moment, is not just to get lost in the hunt and looking for cards. You definitely need to have a set direction. Otherwise, you just get lost all over the place. I mean, there's so many cards, so many sets to discover. And you definitely can get lost in that world, and you end up buying these cards, and you might end up buying them more on impulse.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think that's a great strategy that you have if you've got something in mind already, and you can move the money straight into that. So we'll get on to now some more funner random questions for you. So we'll get through them. Now, the first one is, who, in your opinion, currently is undervalued in the UFC card market?
That's hard because like I said, UFC is so different because like all these like Volkanovski, like he's gonna be considered one of the greatest, and he doesn't really sell. Like it's cool to pull a big card of him, and it will sell eventually, but it's not like there's not really a hot market for him. Like granted, like he sells more than like other fighters, but for being as great of a fighter he is, and like the name he's made for himself, like it's disappointing to see like his market. And even when Usman was champ, he wasn't like a big sell either. Like he would be expensive and he'll like sell, but it'd be a lot harder than these other fighters that don't have as big as a accomplishment in the sport as he has, you know?
Yeah.
There's just so many fighters.
As you said, the UFC market is just so different in that regard. Hype tends to sell more than achievements.
Yeah, it's all hype.
If I had to pick someone off the top of my head, it would be more of a short-term undervalued. I think Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
I think he's a good pickup just now. All right, another fun one. If you were given $1,000 right here, right now, and you had to buy a UFC card, or which one would it be? Or maybe spread it out over 2 cards if you need to. What card are you picking?
1,000?
Yeah.
Honestly, with that, I'll probably buy my PC card. I'll probably buy a PC card for myself.
Which one is that?
The Michelle Waterston first auto 101.
Silver ink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not that one. That's her black frame. That's 2017, I think. Her first auto is I'll send you a picture later. It's just her first auto, and it's a 101.
Is it?
So it's
what
pretty
year
cool.
is that? Was she 2015? What year was her?
I think her rookie was 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the first auto was 2016. Her rookie was 2015.
Yeah. Okay. I had a feeling it was 2015.
Yep.
All right. Fast forward the UFC card market 10 years. What set, you can either choose between a set or fighter, do you think has the highest value, is selling for the
10 years.
most?
I say debut Prism, honestly.
Yeah.
Debut
Okay.
Prism with those big rookies,
Yeah.
especially Hamzat. I think 10 years from now, Hamzat would be champion for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He wants
debut Prism.
he wants to go 3 different weight classes, which
Yeah.
to be honest, if he can cut to 170 again, get a title shot there, obviously he's been looking great. And then 185 and 205 is, and it's not impossible. So you could be very well right there, but I do agree. Debut Prism, Panini Prism is a massive product, as I said, across all sports cards. So no, good answer. And as the UFC card hobby continues to grow, as it will, what is one thing that you would like to see happen moving forward?
I would like to see like bigger card influencers start getting into UFC more, because you do see at these big shows that have like these really high-end football, baseball, basketball cards, you do see like a high-end UFC card here, just one there. So they're starting to get the idea. You can notice that they're getting an idea like all this money to be made in this sport with these fighters. So like you see all these like $1,000 of football, basketball, and you see like a Hamzat like Prism rookie slapped up, just thrown in there.
Yeah.
So I like to see more variety UFC in these bigger influencers.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And I definitely think you're onto something there, because it surprises me. Like I'm not out there buying one, not because it's obviously not something I can afford, but I can't believe what Conor McGregor Bloodlines 2013, even whether it's a BGS 9.5, PSA 9, even a PSA 10, there's some copies of his PSA 10 first year auto, what that sells in comparison to some of these other athletes in other sports. I mean, it's selling for fractions, which, as I said, I don't understand. I'm not in that high end circle, but as I said, I think eventually people will catch up.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Getting towards the end of the convo now. Is there any cards that you would like to show off for the viewers?
Yeah, I got like 4 cards right here.
Yeah.
It's hard to choose though.
Let's see them.
Let's see if I can flip the camera. So this is one of my favorite, John Jones. It's a piece of the cage, the mat, and his shorts.
Is that 2010, 2009?
This is 2010.
2010, yeah. The cage
The
relic.
second year, I believe.
How thick is that card? That card must be as thick as a brick.
It's actually not too thick. It's like, it seems relatively thinner than the Immaculate cards. I think because they cut the cage like in half, so it's easier to fit in.
Yeah, such
a unique.
And
it's not numbered. It's not numbered, surprisingly.
It's not.
No. And this is on Pat Shadow of the mat event used of Dustin, my PC.
Second year, 2012.
This is 2012, I believe.
Yeah, and
second year.
Dustin is a guy you PC, right?
Yeah, I PC him big.
So you would say, sorry for the viewers, because I already know this, so sorry I didn't ask, but you would say your 2 biggest PCs are the Michelle Waterson and Dustin?
Yeah, for sure, by far.
Yeah.
And you already know I have this one.
Yeah, the Sapphire Valley.
Could you see it good? Because it looks blurry on my screen.
No, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, Rookie Sapphire, PSA 9 out of 25.
What number is that out of 25?
Yeah, out of 25. Pretty crisp.
What's the refraction? That Sapphire refraction looks awesome.
Thank you. And
boom.
Probably my favorite wax card right now.
There it is. The gold vinyl 101 from Michelle Waterson from 2022 Optic. Such a beautiful card, man. I think.
Thanks. I was on eBay every day for it, looking for it.
Yeah. Is there any other? Are you on the market for the Poirier? If anyone out there has the Dustin Poirier Optic gold vinyl 101, should they be sliding into your DMs?
You know, that's funny because let me flip this, because for Poirier, I don't really buy. I don't know. I never really liked his Panini cards. If you look at my Poirier collection, I don't think I have one Panini card. I think it's all like Topps, Bloodlines.
Have you got his rookie from 2011 finest?
Yeah, I have his debut and I have his first auto.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I'm
That's on
working
card,
on
right? They're on card.
yeah, the on cards. That's
Yeah.
it's so nice. No,
Yeah.
his first auto is sticker, I think, and his second year is on card.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right. One question to go. Now, I think this is going to be beneficial because there could be, someone out there who's watching this video right now and they're brand new to the UFC card market. Obviously,
Yeah.
you've been in it now for a little while. You said it's over a year, but it sounds to me like you have learned a lot of things and you definitely have a lot of knowledge to share. So what would be one thing you would share, a piece of advice to someone who is watching this video right now, who is getting into UFC cards for the first time?
You know what? Yeah, like I said, like barely 11 months I've been in the sports card business, so I don't know too much, but every day I'm learning something new. I'm doing this. I'm full-time college student. I work part-time, but on my off time I do this like all the time, just looking at cards, trying to understand the market. So I know a lot about UFC, so that's why I switched from baseball to UFC. So I would say from my personal experience, like don't rush too much to get into the high-end cards. Like don't like you like enjoy the dollar boxes and everything, and eventually you'll get there. So don't feel too pressured or too rushed to buy in, and don't if you are about to get into the high end market, don't buy a card just because of hype. If you like want to spend your first like say $800 on a high end card, make sure it's something that you really want and not what other people are telling you. Oh, you should buy this card, this card. Like it's good to get advice, but if you listen to that advice and there's a part of you that you don't really want it, just don't do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. And I'm definitely, my number one sort of mantra for the hobby is whether a card is buying, of course, for your collection, you're going to like it. But even if you're buying a card for a longer term investment for something that you want to sell onwards, to buy a card that you still like, whether it's visually, whether it's the fighter, always buy something that you're willing to hold on to if things, if the worst happens. So no, I
Yeah,
think I
yep.
think that's great advice. All right. Thank you so much, Justin. If there's someone out there who is watching this video who wants to get in contact with you, maybe talk about UFC cards, maybe, check out what you've got for sale at the moment, what is the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, like you shouted me out earlier, my Instagram at West Coast _rips double S.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much, Justin. This has been absolutely fantastic. And I would love to have you on again in a few months' time. Check in, see where you're going. How's the PC going? How's some of those bigger cards going? And I'd love to have you back.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a pleasure. I would love to be back. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait a minute. Who are you?